So we will be starting the broadcast at 3 o'clock. In the meantime, you can just listen to this really super boring music until we are ready to get started. Thanks. In the world. Do I still have you here? Car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure you were still on the line.
Don't worry. I can be quiet.
It's like a whole now. See, this is where I know where I have to do movements on because I probably shouldn't have had like 5 minutes of like wait time. everyone, and welcome to my very first live broadcast of Let's Talk About It with Cherie M. I'm so excited to be doing this, but I'm also super stoked about my first guest that I have today. I'm so thrilled to be doing this interview, and the person that we have on the show today is quite an amazing girl, and she is the creator and the founder of Teens Against Cyberbullying, and I can't. I met this girl. I would say about a year ago, and ever since I met her, she has been. She has just been really awesome and really amazing. I'm sorry, she just got the phone just hung up on her, so she just called back. And so first of all, let me just say hello, Cara.
Hi.
And how are you doing today?
Amazing, man.
Today is Easter, so it really is a beautiful day, and it's really a time of celebration and reverence. So I think this is a perfect day to be doing an interview like this. And I just want to say again how excited I am to be doing this interview. And can you just first start off by telling us what exactly Teens Against Cyberbullying is, and why did you decide to create it?
Well, Teens Against Cyberbullying is a teen organization ran by teens from the ages 11 through 17. Despite our name, we also talk about self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, basically whatever today's teens are facing. I started this organization in July 2011, about a couple months after my 11th birthday, and mainly the reason why I started it was because my whole life I've been bullied, and I didn't know what to do. The teachers wouldn't respond. The teachers didn't do anything about it, and I was hooked up to a lot of anti-bullying organizations. I had a lot of connections, and each and every one of them has encouraged me to basically just stand out and create an organization of my own. And after a few months of hesitation, I decided to finally make the organization. It was in the first night we had about 500, 600 members join through all the connections. Each year we mentor about 2,000 kids online and offline, as well as through our street organization.
Okay, so like you said, I know you started Teens Against Cyberbullying at a very young age. So you started Teens Against Cyberbullying when you were 11 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how old are you now?
I am now 13.
Okay, awesome. So being 11 and 13 is a really young age to even be thinking about facing these kind of problems. So I know that you experiencing bullying yourself is one of the reasons why you're so passionate about combating it, but are there other reasons why you feel that you need to kind of put your foot in this game and try to stop some of this bullying from happening?
Well, one of the main reasons why I'm so passionate is because I'm bullied for my hearing disability. When I was 6, I lost my complete hearing in my right ear, and I can only hear about 90% of my left. And the audiologist had no scientific reason why I had actually lost my hearing. And I came to school, and as I came to school, people were pointing, they were laughing. Throughout the years, it started out as mental and verbal bullying, but it became physical. And I didn't really have a voice, and I was really afraid to speak out. And I got to the point where I was basically cutting myself, and I was starving. I didn't know where to turn to. It's like, inside I kept screaming, and yet no one had heard me. And I feel that the reason I'm so passionate about this is because once I have actually found my voice, I'm actually able to give others that are silently screaming inside a voice, and I'm able to bring prevention and awareness to several topics that a lot of students are facing today.
So just talking a little bit about, because you mentioned that you suffered some physical abuse. Can you describe like some of the things that you went through?
Well, the physical abuse started in the third grade. There was a girl in the school. A lot of people were afraid of her. Nobody really was wanting to step up to her because they were afraid that she's going to turn everyone against them. And she's going to gang up on them. And she started bullying me verbally, and finally I just had enough. And I walked up to her and I'm like, look, I'm not going to tolerate this. And starting from the third grade, she would gang up on me with a whole group, and basically they push and shove me, they push me off things, they play my in the lockers, and it's like, I kept telling the teachers and the counselors about it, but the only reason why they didn't do anything is because she got away with it. People covered up for it because nobody else saw it.
Wow, that is really, really terrible. But I know that there's so many kids that face these kind of things. So it's so awesome to have people that are willing to talk about this and willing to spread the word and willing to, fight against this kind of stuff from happening to any more young people or teenagers. And you also mentioned that you had suffered from self-harm. And I know that this is something that a lot of young people face. Can you talk a little bit about that? Can you really talk a little bit about what self-harm is and how it affects young people, and where does it start and where does it end?
Self-harm is basically what one does to themselves to basically harm their body. It doesn't have to be cutting. It can also be scratching. It could be bruising. It can also be use very, very variety of objects, and it can also just be just anything that you're personally trying to do to cause harm to your body. There's not really a certain time or a certain age that it starts, but the individual will go through a series of depression, and they'll just self-harm, and it's very common today. There are a lot of cutters that I know, and sometimes it's just very hard to tell because less likely they'll start cutting on their arms because they don't want anyone to know, so they'll start cutting on their thighs or their hips, and sometimes it's just too late to realize. And usually there's not an ending point. There's always those temptations, but a lot of self-harmers have found that just other tools, and they found coping mechanisms, and they also found a lot of people that too.
And so many times these self-harm incidents come from being bullied and children feeling like they have no escape and this is the only escape they have. So can you kind of give advice to a student who is being bullied or anybody that is being bullied? What can they do to escape in a healthy way, or what can they do to kind of talk about it and kind of get advice from other people?
My advice would basically just reach out to somebody that you trust, whether it's your best friend or an adult, and whenever you need to, just rant, and just tell them how you feel. I also suggest writing in a journal as that can help a lot as you're getting your feelings out. But if there's a short-term tool that I could just give to someone, my advice would just be using a silly band or running your wrist under cold water, squeezing ice cubes, because if you don't have someone you trust, then most likely you're going to have to find other coping mechanisms before you're able to trust people.
Okay, so do you have any advice for parents who are dealing with children that are being bullied? What should parents do if their child comes home and they're like, I'm being bullied and I don't want to go back to school, I don't know what to do?
My advice is to just talk to the teacher at the school about it, just do whatever you can to voice the bullying and voice what's going on. A lot of students and a lot of children are very afraid of their parents saying something because they're afraid of making it worse. But that's usually not the case. My advice is just to continue to love on them. And if you feel like anything's going on, I suggest that you just sit down and you talk to them about it, because a lot of people that are being bullied are very closed up about it. And a couple of signs of bullying is that they start skipping school and they come home very depressed, or they're addicted to Facebook, and then all of a sudden they just stop. My advice to you would be to just reach out to the school and reach out to your children, to just find a lot of resources that you can use to put a stop to it and to put prevention.
Okay, so why cyberbullying? Why did you decide to focus your organization on cyberbullying?
Well, the main reason why I made it huge in cyberbullying was at the time I was being bullied cyberly, and it just made a lot of sense because I was making it on the computer, and at the time I wasn't really speaking at schools or speaking at churches. But I had a goal casted in before I made an organization, and my question was, what do you want to focus on more? Do you want to focus on physical bullying? Do you want to focus on cyberbullying, or do you want to focus on verbal bullying? And the one that got the most votes was cyberbullying. And 1 in 3 kids will be cyberbullied each day. So basically, that's basically the reason why I started against cyberbullying, although we do discuss a variety of topics.
So do you feel like social media is doing enough to protect kids from being bullied? And if not, what more can websites like Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and all of the many websites that are popping up every day, what can they do more that they're not doing?
I honestly feel that there is a lot of bullying going on, and I know that I'm not going to be able to wave my magic wand and prevent it completely and put an end to it completely. But I do know that if I do get a lot of people just grouped up, that we'd be able to officially put an end to bullying. A lot of things I see on Facebook is a lot of fights. And people are very silent about it, and they don't step in and they don't block them. They don't step in and say, "Hey, this is not right. I'm not going to tolerate this." I suggest that you just not be silent about the bullying, and if you experience bullying, or if you see bullying going on, just report it. And if you know someone that's bullied, just be there for them, and just talk them through it.
So your answer would be that combating cyberbullying online starts with the person. It doesn't necessarily start with the social media website, but it starts with you to be able to say, "Hey, I'm not going to tolerate this. This is not okay."
Yes. You can do a lot of social media. You can wear a lot of shirts, but what's really going to put an end to it in the end is just stepping out and not being silent and just doing something about it, because it's very less likely that you're going to be able to stop bullying just by posting a status or just by wearing a shirt, because in the end, your actions are what's going to count.
Okay, so you have over 4,000 likes on Facebook on the Teens Against Cyberbullying Facebook page. What is your plans for the future? What do you want to see Teens Against Cyberbullying become, and what do you want to see Teens Against Cyberbullying do?
My hopes and prayers would be that Teens Against Cyberbullying would basically just be able to reach out to more people than just in my state or just online. I'm hoping and praying that we'd be able to just speak out at more schools and speak out at more churches, and that we're able to go on talk shows and to just spread the word about it, to just spread prevention and to just put an end to it. My hopes and goals would be that we would get further than just on the computer and further than just in our hometown.
Okay, so do you have dreams of incorporating and actually making Teens Against Cyberbullying a concrete organization?
My organization can be very concrete at times. There are a lot of times where we just stumble because we are human, but basically, since I'm the founder, I try to keep it very organized, and very just in my own original ways. We have several groups. We have the administrators who post on the website. We have the people that go out and speak. We have the people that will check the inboxes and reply. We have the people that basically just make the t-shirts, make the bracelets. My whole thing with the Bean Factory is just organization and just try to make as much as you can out of it. And to just continue to touch base with administrators. We talk on a daily basis, and if there's anything going on or if they're curious about something, we'll have a group conversation about it and we'll discuss it. Basically, the whole thing to the Create organization is basically just communication and organization.
Okay, so I know that Teens Against Cyberbullying is a very well-oiled machine with a massive amount of different contributors on the page. How many different contributors do you have?
We have several online. We have at least 500 different organizations posting on our wall, sharing our statuses, sharing our photos, and asking us. But a few of the very well-known, well-contributed people that we have is the organization called Break the Gray. And Break the Gray has been started in, I think, 2005. I'm very close to the owner of that, and Break the Gray helps by spreading the word about it. And when we go to school, so we'll talk about Teens Against Cyberbullying. Whenever they hold a concert, basically what we'll do is we will just they'll enable me to speak out. Our biggest contributor is Break the Gray as well as Operation Bullied.
Okay, that's really awesome. And you have a lot of admins. How many admins do you have on your page?
I have about 25.
Wow.
A couple of them are from my hometown. A couple of them are from my state, but there are a couple that are just around the globe, so then we're able to bring teams to be more than just one area.
Okay. Well, Cara, it was amazing talking to you, and thank you so much for your time. And everybody should go and check out Teens Against Cyberbullying. You can look them up on Facebook. You can just go in your search bar and hit Teens Against Cyberbullying. And can you give the URL? I think it's facebook.com/Teens Against Cyberbullying. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can just go straight to facebook.com/Teens Against Cyberbullying. And also, this interview today is brought to you by End Bullying Save Lives. So you can also go and hit up that Facebook page if you want to. And this was, once again, was a wonderful interview. And thank you so much, Cara, for your time.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thank you all for thank you all for listening, and thank you all for participating in my very first live broadcast of Let's Talk About It with Cherie M. And I'm so thrilled that this could be my first interview and my first show. And I appreciate you all so much, and have a wonderful, amazing rest of your Easter day.